Hey guys, I am Curious Butterfly and this is Curicast. I'm going to start out by saying a shout out to God and also to my friends who I hung out with earlier today and who convinced me to finally actually start my podcast that I've been wanting to do for a long time because I ranted to them about this trailer for quite a while and they were like, Courtney, please talk to the internet. Please, you need a camera. Because we were at the park and I was standing on benches and running around, and it was really intense. You, however, will only have to listen to me, you won't have to see me going crazy. So, also, we want to do a spoiler alert for obviously Flash Season 3, and a little bit of Arrow Season 5, but not a whole lot. I'm going to be delving pretty deep into this trailer. I'm no DC ninja, I don't know every character from the comics, so there'll still be a lot of that kind of stuff that won't be spoilery, but I am looking into the details of this trailer. So if you want to go in blind, this isn't the video for you. Also, make sure you actually watch the trailer before you watch my video, because otherwise, why are you even watching this? So I will link the trailer in the description. Alright, let's get started. We're going to start straight from the beginning. This trailer starts out with a classic Flash, very sketchy monologue that is kind of accurate and kind of not. It's very common for him, dramatic voiceover. I'm imagining Grant Gustin sitting in, like, the booth, being dramatic, and it's a staple. Side note, what exactly is he free from? He's free from his past, he's free from the angst of his parents, he's free from his guilt about his parents. I don't know. But moving on, he says everything's great, which of course is Q showing all the stuff that has changed because of Flashpoint. Now let's take a look at that stuff that's changed, okay? First of all, we see that Iris doesn't know Barry. Now, this doesn't really come as a surprise. I don't, I mean, it's frustrating, especially for hardcore West Allen shippers. I'm not too hardcore, but I do think they're really cool, and I want them to be together. It's interesting because, we got that kiss at the end of the last season, and now, obviously, them being canon is delayed because he walks up to her in jitters, and she, doesn't even know who he is. An interesting side note is that, West Island technically wouldn't have been super duper intensely canon anyways, even if he hadn't changed the timeline, because he claimed he needed some time to figure out where he was with his grief. So I feel like Flashpoint is kind of going to be that for him coming to terms again with that pain and that grief. We remember last time he claimed to, and did for a while, come to terms with his grief over his mother was when he was in the Speed Force and he saw her or a version of her and talked to her. So this going back and talking to his parents, I think it's whether or not he actually directly discusses the events of Flashpoint. I think it's going to kind of be the same way for him. So when he gets back to the original timeline, which I'm pretty sure he will, but more about that in a little bit, he will feel better and be ready to get into that relationship with Iris. Something interesting is later on in the trailer he says, Iris says, we're something else to each other in where you come from, aren't we? Something along those lines. And he is in his Flash costume at that point. So apparently he tells her right away that he's in this alternate timeline, things are crazy, meaning that he probably wants to try to fix it. Now, how characters are going to react to that, being told you're not real, this is the wrong timeline, whatever, I'm assuming we're kind of going to get a not really straight up answer about exactly what has happened. I mean, we know that it's a changed timeline, but something's going on a little bit more here, possibly, with this whole Dr. Alchemy thing. More on that in a bit. And of course, what Thawne is saying in the trailer about it being a mirage, it's messing with your head. Who's the villain now, Barry? Speaking of Thawne, he is locked up. How did he get there? Possibly after Barry beat him up, saving his mom. He got locked up in there somehow. Do people know about him? I'm glad they are showing him, though, not only because Thawne is intrinsic, very involved in the Flashpoint source material, which I don't know a lot about, but usually Thawne is involved. But it's also, I feel, important because after Barry beat him up, I was like, okay, so what happens? Couldn't he just try to kill his mom again? So it seems like they're dealing with that, which I think is good. Um, Now, Dr. Alchemy. Okay, so you may have noticed the quick flash of writing when Barry was having some of those weird headaches or whatever. It said alchemy, and there was a creepy guy in a mask. Not the speedster, the creepy guy with the hood mask thing. That is Dr. Alchemy. Dr. Alchemy is a character from the comics that A, I don't know a lot about, and B, I'm not going to get into because I am going to just let myself discover this version of this character through the show. But he will be one of the two main villains, the other being that mysterious black clad speedster that is not Zoom because he looks different from Zoom, but I don't know who he is. I'm personally kind of frustrated they're going to do another bad speedster, but we'll find out. We do know that it's probably not Tom Cav or Tom Cav's character because we have seen the face of a guy in the suit. I'm not sure whether that's a stunt double or the actor or maybe he's doing his own stunts. I don't know, but we have seen him on set with the actor who's one of the few actors' names I don't know. I apologize. Who plays Wally West in the suit? So we know it's not Tom Cav or Tom Cav's character. I don't know who he is. We'll get to that sometime. It'll probably be some drawn out mystery about, oh, who's the evil speedster this season, because that is a staple on this show. Okay, let's talk about the character. Oh, you know what? Real quick, we're going to deal with Joe. So Joe doesn't get a whole lot of attention. He is shown saying to Barry, we're not friends, we're not partners, you don't know my life, which I think is really funny because it sounds like a text post, like, you don't know my life? Or like, it's my life, Mom, but it's actually pretty sad because, we know Barry knows a lot about Joe's life. He feels he's like another dad to him. So that's obviously going to cut Barry deep, just like not knowing, or in a similar way that, not to the same degree, but, not knowing Iris. But let's talk about Cisco. Cisco is probably the character that seems the most altered in this strange timeline, which is interesting because he's been through so many changes throughout the show, especially in season 2. It was like he was put in a blender, with his powers and all the times he's been killed, and he's changed a lot. Okay, so Iris still seems to be the same girl, just, minus Barry. Joe seems to be an angstier version of himself, but still Joe. People seem to be the same with different things about their situations, but basically it's still the same people. But Cisco, he came into his first day at work in the original timeline in a t-shirt, okay? He eats candy. He is hyper. He's a nerd. He is silly. He is unreserved. He is a child. We love him, though, okay? He's great. But this version of Cisco, while we still love him, he is very much different. So he's the head of Ramon Industries. He's, according to Iris, the richest man in America. He's wearing glasses. So I guess maybe he had contacts before. I know the actor wears glasses and contacts, but so he's wearing his glasses. He has his hair pulled back. He is wearing a suit and a tie. I don't know if we've ever seen him that fancy. He's all angsty and angry about Barry, intruding. He has that really tall, I love, the really tall assistant he has that makes him look like a hobbit. I think that's fantastic, and I'm looking forward to seeing more about her. But he's shoving carrots into a blender. He's drinking, vegetable juice instead of eating candy. So this is definitely a very different Cisco, and it's going to be really interesting to see who he is, what's going on. But it seems like Star Labs instead is Ramon Industries, so should we take that to mean that it was Ramon Industries that created the metahumans in this timeline? Because there seem to be metahumans, considering Wally is Kid Flash. His suit looks awesome, by the way! I'm so excited for him. I was waiting through so much of his whole arc to become Kid Flash, and it was such a tease when they literally hit him and Jesse Quick with the dark matter and then didn't have them have speedster powers. But one of the things I'm disappointed about is it means that we might only have Kid Flash in this timeline, and that would be really sad. But Anyways, he seems to be helping out Kid Flash and kind of being not Harrison Wells, but like that, he owns the big thing that probably created the metahumans to an extent. That's not what I meant. He seems to be the guy in charge at this version of Start Labs or Ramon Industries, and he probably spearheaded the project that is often credited with creating the metahumans. Um, there is also, you might be thinking, what about Caitlin? She left Caitlin out. I did not forget about Caitlin. I've been thinking deeply about Caitlin because I didn't see the first couple times watching this trailer for fun. I did not see Caitlin. That worried me. Now, I didn't think she was dead, but it did worry me. So, what I would like to do is direct your attention to 1.17. I'm putting a picture up, but if you want to go back and watch the trailer, it takes place at 1.17. We can clearly see a shot where they are in Ramon Industries in what normally would be like the med lab, the cortex, and so there is Caitlin. There she is. So in this picture, there's quite a few interesting things. We have Joe there, so Joe seems to know, at least at this point, if not throughout his whole timeline, that Wally is Kid Flash. Wally seems to be injured. I don't think this is him waking up from a coma and becoming the Flash, because we see him earlier on in the trailer when Barry's having, getting yelled at by Cisco about why are you here, and possibly the you don't know me thing happens at the same time. So Wally appears to be injured. Iris is at his side. And they're all kind of looking, I feel like they're kind of looking towards Barry. Maybe something he did got Wally injured. I don't know. But Caitlin is here. Caitlin is alive. She's dressed in a uniform that suggests that she works at Ramon Industries as a doctor, probably as the same kind of thing she was doing with the team in the other timeline. My guess for Caitlin this timeline is that she's happy. We look at how much angst and pain she's gone through, especially in the last season and just throughout the show in general, that I think that the irony for her is going to be that while everyone else maybe has some kind of messed up stuff in this timeline, she has a really happy life. Maybe she's married, maybe, she's really happy, and that's going to make it really hard for Barry when he changes the timeline again, because he already feels so much guilt about so many of the things that have happened to Caitlin in the original timeline or in his other timeline, that he's going to feel bad about kind of like taking this away from her. Another interesting thing about this shot is I feel like maybe in this timeline, Wally and Joe and Iris all knew about each other. That could be an interesting potential change. Let me see. Is there anything that's pretty much sums it up for 1.17, except for those like really weird shoes that Barry is wearing? Not weird isn't bad, but like they do not match his outfit. I kind of feel like maybe those are like he burned his shoes off running or something, and they gave him those, or there's some kind of techie thing. 'Cause, like it just, I don't know. It's not something he would normally wear, and they're like all shiny and they look techie, or I don't know. But so that's what I got from the trailer. I am so excited for this new season. I'm really anxious about what they're going to do with Caitlin and with Cisco, but I'm looking forward to it. It's not a perfect show. And that's okay, because, our media and our shows that we watch, for the most part, they are filled, there's only one perfect book, and, shows have problems, shows have plot holes, but we like them anyways, and I'm really looking forward to this season. Let me know what you guys think, what you're looking forward to, what you're angry about, what you're excited for, what you thought was weird in the comments about this trailer. Like I said, I'm going to link the actual trailer in the description for this video. I'm also going to link a cool What Culture article that talks about some of the same stuff that I picked out here. Not all of it, but some of it. And yeah, The Flash Season 3 will debut and come out on October 4th of this year, so make sure to set that up for your DVR, and get pumped for this new season. Alright, thanks so much for listening, and God bless, guys.